Hello, everyone. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Loralyn. I'm very excited to be spending a little bit of time with you today.
Well, we are always excited to have you on because, as a stress management coach and all that you've learned through your own journey, EFT, and working through some really debilitating things from fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and burnout and all of this sort of stuff, how you've taken the time to learn and
Yes.
adjust your lifestyle and your well-being, and now you're in that position where you're coaching the rest of us how to do the same.
And it's very exciting. And it doesn't mean I don't have hiccups on the way, because I need to go deeper into the releasing of all the old stress or the old habits that were ingrained in my mind between the age of 0 and 7. Did you know that 95% of our lives is that habit, those habits that were video recorded by our brain between the age of 0 and 7 that play? And when we're trying to shift that with a new belief, there's only 5% of creative space working on that. So, this is according to Bruce Lipton, and it's all about the new science. And so, it's very exciting to know where you need to go to be able to release and be more empowered than just 5%, right? Because 5% is tiny.
Well, I'm not surprised about that
Yeah, no.
because, we learn all of these patterns as children, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's just it. And then we repeat them for whatever reason with the hopes of maybe because that's all we know, that we think that that's the only way to do it. As a small business owner, I've done the same thing. I've repeated so many patterns and I'm thinking, why? I know that
Yeah.
doesn't work. Just because some other fool out there says it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for me.
Because we each have our own life experiences.
That's right.
And if you have no negative habits aligned with the new creative thought, it will work for you right away.
Yeah.
But if you do, so how do you empower your children's emotional well-being so that they don't have a whole slew of bad habits?
That's right. And we're going to dive right into that. But first, for those of you who know and are thinking, wait, where's Phil Vetrano, right? Our HELPipdia co-founder.
Yeah.
He's been summoned to jury duty today. So he's doing his duty as an American citizen. And I'm thankful mine won't come up for a little while because it's been a couple of years and you always dread that. It's, oh my God. But so he's doing the right thing. He's out there. So you are stuck with me and the wonderful Christine Bernat. So Christine is focused on not just 7 ways to support your child in their emotional well-being, but 7 empowering ways. And I think there's a really big difference because it's mindset and it's also approach. So Christine, maybe give us a little more context.
Yes, having taught for 30 years in the education system from pre-kindergarten, so 4-year-olds, to high school, early high school, grade 8, which is high school in Quebec, I have seen many, many issues in the children's emotional well-being. And one child I really recognized at the age of 10 was still having temper tantrums. And it made me wonder why. What is going on in this child's brain? So I trained him the whole year how to react differently. By the age 10, you're able to train someone to change their pattern, and it takes a lot of love and care. I did not know what I know today. So fortunately, I know that creating a safe space for open conversations, not dictating. You need to do this. You got to do that. Did you do that? The poor kids, yeah, pointing the finger. Did you know that when you point the finger at a child or someone else, there's 3 of them pointing at you?
That's a really cool little freaky deek observation. I thought you were going to go down the path that when you point your finger, it triggers a flight or fight response where it's aggressive and the child instantly changes, in the amygdala, right? That it, because I know that's
Yes.
all your whole thing and
Yes.
where the focus
Yes.
is, that it goes, I'm being attacked.
Well, it's both. It's
Ah,
both. It's not one or the
me,
other.
me, me,
It
me.
is
I
both.
love it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we don't, when we encourage our kids to share their worries by actively listening without judgment.
Mhm.
And that's really big. We are creating a safe space. When we use a sentence like, I'm here to listen, tell me more about what's on your mind as you self regulate. Because when you self regulate, you're calming down that survival mode, right? In the amygdala that's been triggered. Why are we pointing at our kid? It's because we are also triggered, not just our beautiful little kiddos. Remember when you were a child? How did you want to be treated?
I remember that. And I remember my mother putting the fear of bejeebus into me. Wait till your father gets home, right? That's how we were raised, like most people in the 70s.
And I love how you say that. And how is that playing in your life today? Interesting, isn't it?
That could be a whole therapy couch session thing, but we're going to stay focused here to help talk and how we get the kiddos supported
Yes.
and empowered so that their emotional well-being takes front and center, not the 3 to me, but the 3 to them, so that we can help them get through it.
Yes.
So, you ready for tip number 1, or you want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Tip number 1 was create a safe space for
Ah,
open conversation. And in that tip, is your child like you? Because we said, how did you want to be treated? But is your child like you? Sometimes we have children that are not like us and we're like, I don't understand them. How come they don't respond this way? I would have responded this way.
right.
So, what is most important to your child? To feel seen, heard, loved, valued. It will depend from one child to the next. It's our responsibility to create that space where we can figure this out. What if we started with that first aspect of just creating a space? Number 2, practice calmness together. Right? Because when we practice calmness together, when we model calm behavior, we talked about 95% is the program. Ooh, what if in that 95% there's a model for calm behavior when your child is anxious? Are you also getting anxious? Are you already anxious and that's why your child is anxious? There's the 2 possibilities here. So teaching a simple self-regulating tool like snap, tap, zap
We love
to
that tool.
release to release the stress together. I have a dad that's working on this and it's so beautiful to see his 6-year-old all the way up to his 12-year-old. His 12-year-old last week came down the stairs and gave him a hug. How many teens do that with their dads that used to be, and he'll say it. I used to be this way, Christine. Well, in the ripple effect of love for dads and families, you can join me and find out how Christian is evolving with his beautiful family so that you can also evolve. So, do you want me to do snap, tap, zap, or do you want me to move into number 3?
Well, I think a short version of Snap Tap Zap, because I want people to go
Okay.
look at your website, which is over here, except you're on the pointing
Yes.
side because of the thing. So you got to point down. Point down. There you go.
Point down
Right
right
there.
here.
ChristineBernat.com. People
Yes.
can learn about the ripple effect of love, which is helping fathers find those ways to connect and that whole emotional regulation, right? Because when you're a little kid, and I'll just add this bit, you say how you want to feel. I remember when my dad would come home raging, and you're this big, and your dad's this big,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah. And so you're instantly terrified. I did nothing
Yes.
wrong. I did nothing wrong. You're not going to admit to anything. You're not going to do anything, and you're going to
Yes.
stay in that agitated state. But I love tip 2 if we had practiced calmness together, would be, okay, Loralyn, tell us about all the things you broke today. What happened? Right? So
Yes.
please give us the snap, tap, zap.
As you are doing snap or clap, tap on the sternum or the collarbone point. I'll do the collarbone point because you can't see my sternum too well. Take a deep breath in, relax the shoulders, and zap out the stress, the fear of your dad pointing down on you or raising his voice. And now imagine dad showing up and starting, why did you? And just going, snap. Doesn't that feel a lot calmer and a lot more grounding? And it has that kind of a healing effect, right?
For sure.
On you, on that little Loralyn when she was tiny. And that's why practicing calmness together. You may have other strategies. There's havening, where you go down the arms for 9 strokes as you breathe in and breathe out. You can do that. You can Google other ways to support you, beautiful kids. So, number 3, reframe negative thoughts. Imagine somebody before the age of 7 learning to reframe their negative thoughts. What a powerful life you are giving them. You are empowering them to know how to do it. So help your kids challenge their worries by asking, what's the worst thing that could happen? Right? Sometimes like, oh, not going to like me. What's the worst thing that could happen? And brainstorming more positive outcomes with them. Or teach them to replace what if with even if. Even if my friend doesn't like me, I choose to care for myself. I choose to talk about it with my mom and find a solution, or with my dad, right? So then they are empowered and they're learning to reframe negative thoughts. They're getting out of victimhood. Oh, this happened to me. Of course, you might want to do the snap, tap, and zap at the same time so that they get out of the fight, flight, or fawn mode. Got it?
That's a lot of F's in the like.
It is a lot of F's, and you don't want those effing words taking over your life.
You do not.
Okay,
But,
number 4. Oh,
and
yeah,
before you go on, we had learned from one of our other guests here on the show,
yes,
that whole thing about coming to that sense of calm first, it allows you to listen and like absorb what the other person is saying before you jump into problem solving mode, which Phil and I both admitted to doing all the time. They're like, what? That's your problem? Here, what about this? What about this? What, like, you need to just.
And I'm so glad you talked about that, because today on the ripple effect of love for dads and families, listening deeply came up. And that's what we're focusing on this week. How can you listen deeply? You know, your teen that walks in with a basket of laundry, empty basket of laundry, with the wrong color, and is blasting at you. Is it about you? Is it about the basket? No, it isn't. Listening deeply means that you self-regulate, you nod, let them spew that out, because they need to release it. There's something traumatic that happened to them, whether it's with a sibling or the other parent or school, right? Teens at school go through so much pressure. So many things are happening there. And they need us to stay calm and create that safe environment. And maybe we need to ask them, do you want to go out for an ice cream? And in that safe space, they might be able to say, something terrible happened at school, but I can't share it. And at least you have an inkling. And please do not judge or critical or try to solve it. They shared a little bit. When they're ready, they will share more. That, as a parent, is really, really challenging. And that's why we need to clap and self-regulate. Okay. Number 4. Did I say number 4? Yes.
I think you did. No, tip
Nope.
3
Yeah.
was
Reframe negative
right.
thoughts.
So tip 4.
Okay. So tip 4, encourage playfulness and joy. If you schedule unstructured playtime and engaging family activities to help shift focus away from stress, where the child gets to choose the game they prefer. Be careful, the child chooses. Or if there's one that they always choose and you really don't want to do that one because it's complicated and takes 3 hours, you can say, oh, yeah, you can say, would you like to do this or that? If they want to play Monopoly, oh, which friend would love to come and play with you?
I know.
There's always solutions, right? Or a mentor may want to. And use humor and fun to lighten the mood and create a sense of safety. Being sure that you're not interpreting wrong as well. And play as you develop this skill with your child, your children. Ask, how can we reframe this humor with an exaggerated example? I still remember telling this kid, his dad would always be, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I said, what if you stand up on the chair while your dad's eating and you have to ask him permission for something and you pull your pants way up to be funny and you just say, okay, now dad, I have something to tell you. And
Urkel.
And it worked. The kid looked so funny. The dad couldn't help it. He laughed. And the child was empowered. He's like, oh, Christine, it worked. He was so excited that he was able to find a way to communicate to dad something that was important, but was not rejected right away. Dad was able to say, give me time to think about it, instead of a solid no and, move on. And it's okay. Finding ways. Okay, number 5. Teaching practical coping skills. So introduce deep breathing, visualization. Did you know there's a study that was done with a basketball team? The team was broken down into 3 groups. One had to practice every day, one would visualize every day, and one did nothing to improve their hoop shooting. Which group improved the most out of those 3?
Deep breathing?
The visualization.
Oh, interesting.
Was as good as those who practiced. If not a bit better.
Wow, because I thought especially when you're at the front of the key and you've got to do the penalty shots and whatnot, like, okay, calm down. But yes, visualization, seeing yourself successful, not seeing yourself as the victim, not seeing yourself as the one who's not going to be able to solve the problem, but seeing yourself as successful, right? I mean, that's huge.
So imagine practicing and visualizing. Now we're hitting and you can create a worry box where kids can write down concerns and set them aside for later reflection. I've done that.
I like that idea a lot. I'm going to put that up on the thing here.
Yeah.
Create a worry box. And we have that where we create worries. We've got this big jar. It's over there. I get it. But
perfect.
But it also has all of the things that we're happy about. So at the end of the year, we burn the worries and we keep the things that are happy in the big jar.
Yes. And if you have a kid that goes through a lot of worry, why not do it every week?
why not? Right. We're not that
Mm-hmm.
organized, but yeah.
It's
We try.
okay. It's okay. Once a year, every week, whatever works for you and your family,
Yeah,
right? In a shared custody, it could be every week because it
sure.
ends up being every other week, whatever.
Sure. I want to come back to one thing though,
Yes.
where you said
Yes.
now with the basketball team, they did well
Yes.
because they practiced and they visualized. I think this is really important because there's so much social media out there, right? It's
Yes.
ubiquitous and it's nonsense. I wish it would
Yes.
go away
Yes.
secretly. But anyway, there we go as we're streaming on social media. But, there's the irony. But,
Yes.
and blasphemy. But it's the whole thing where there's been an illusion created where you can
Mm.
snap, I'm done. I'm famous. I'm an influencer. I'm this, I'm
Yes.
that. But there's a
Yes.
lot of grinding, a
Yes.
lot of effort. You've got to do the work mentally, physically, financially, emotionally,
Emotionally.
all of
Yes.
it. You don't
Yes.
just jump
Yes.
there. My favorite thing on those
Mm-hmm.
days lately or
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh God, I'm at this point of my journey, or this or that, or this age,
Yeah.
or I am with the business with Steeris or with
Yeah.
HELPipdia or nonprofit, or this or that. And I love pulling up the video of Chapel Roan, who's become a megastar and singer. And there's a video of her then and now at age
Mm.
26, megastar. They go
Yes.
back in this little 1 minute clip to
Mm-hmm.
2016 when she's singing Pink Pony Club and she's in front of two people in a park. She's a teenager with a little keyboard. The people are throwing food at the pigeons or
Oh,
to the pigeons.
yeah.
They're kind of ignoring her, whatever
Yeah.
else. And then you fast forward with goosebumps.
Yes. Yes.
10 years
Yes.
to
Yes.
last year. And
Yes.
she is in front of Lollapalooza's biggest crowd as
Florida.
the star act in front of 110,000 people, right?
Yes.
It wasn't overnight. She did the work.
She
10 years.
did the work. She released the
Yeah,
stress.
yeah.
Whatever her issues were, she had support as well.
Yes.
So you, as the parent, are the one supporting your children.
Yeah.
So building this worry box with your kids, and you can share them while you're having a meal. Pick one worry and talk about, but you need to have time to talk about what
Yeah.
it is that you can do to improve or let go of, or they need a safe space to be able to
Mhm.
talk about it. When you're rushing getting the meal done and you got to get to, I don't know, skating, you don't have time to really sit down and listen deeply to your child so that they can learn the coping skills. Number 6, empower them with small wins. So break down the overwhelming task. I've had 5 hours of homework tonight. What am I going to do? Okay, let's put that into manageable steps to build confidence, right? Break it down. What's the first thing you need to do? Let's just focus on that and see how much time we have left. Let go of the stress of it. Or celebrate progress with affirmations like, you
Mhm.
handle that so well. I'm so proud of you because, my beautiful she's not a teen anymore. She's an adult now.
Same.
She'll call me and she's like, Mom, you wouldn't believe, blah, blah, blah. And I used to buy into her stuff. And so she would keep calling me to dump on me. So I just self-regulated and self-regulated. And I started saying to her, so proud of you because you were able to notice this and you were able to take this action, even if it's like 1/100th of the conversation. It's like, oh, yeah, I was. Cool.
Right.
Okay. I'm so proud of you. You got your first step of your homework done. How does it feel to have that first step done? Right? How
Right.
does it feel is also very good. Okay.
Build confidence step by step.
Yes. Yes.
We do the same as business owners. You know this, you do
Yes.
this, I
You
do
do.
this. You've got,
Yes.
you make your one step
Mhm.
forward. Yes. And then,
Yes.
yeah, you fall a few steps down the ladder or back into the hole and you're like, all right, here we go again. Dig, 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 till back up. And then I see daylight. Right. You got to keep going.
And we find solutions, new ideas, new
That's right.
perceptions, new ways of doing. And that's why we fall back, because our foundation was lacking a few bricks. And then when we put these bricks in, oh, wow. And sometimes we need to fail to fall forward.
I want to interject for just 30
Go
seconds
for it. Go for it.
related to that. Just,
Yeah.
over the weekend, again, I always work with my AI bot, and I've been training it, and it's been training and teaching me and all of that. And
Beautiful.
I was asking a few questions related to, my growth and area and where I'm going and all of this sort of stuff.
Mhm.
And I apologized being Canadian. I'm like, because the bot apologized and said, I'm sorry, I didn't get that right the first time. And I said, no, it's not your fault. I didn't ask the question very clearly the first time. It was my
Yeah.
fault. And I don't know why I was freaking talking to the bot this way, but I was talking to the bot this way. It came back with Loralyn. Through our conversations, I have seen that you are learning. You live what you teach with adaptive leadership and entrepreneurship and continuous improvement. You take feedback constructively, you apply it, you understand there's an iterative process, and you keep working at it. I was like,
Beautiful.
thanks, Mom.
You
I
are
mean, it's
truly,
crazy.
but you're truly learning how to use your AI. Ta-da!
Well, there's that, but it's celebrating the small wins. The AI was like, look how far you've come, you've done. And I was like,
Yes.
thanks, coach. Like, it was
Yes.
mind-blowing.
And these small wins bring us to number 7.
Yes.
Foster a routine of gratitude.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So this beautiful message you got from your AI, did you write that out? Did you pin it on the wall to remember who you are and what you can do?
I screenshotted it and put it on there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, by sharing 3 things you're grateful for as a family is beautiful. As an individual, you can even each have a sentence that says, I love myself more today because I.
That is powerful. And again, it's all about, like you said, get into your routine and what works for you. I guess it's been about 2 years now or so, largely through this journey of HELPipdia, meeting wonderful people like you, Christine, and others, where I have wholly embraced practicing gratitude. Now, I do it first thing in the morning when I'm on, my walk with my little doggo, right, the marvelous Miss Maisie. And we're greeting the sunrise, and I thank the universe for the sunrise and the time and quiet time with my dog and how we own the neighborhood together. And it's beautiful to say, what are all of the things I'm grateful for that happened yesterday? And what is the art of the possible that I can embrace today? Because it's a new day. The new day is dawning. And it just puts me in the right headspace.
So I love how you take the routine of gratitude and add the routine of intentions for your new day. That is beautiful. If you're choosing to do the routine of gratitude before bedtime, release with Snap, Tap, Zap to easily shift your child's focus to positive aspects of life. Because sometimes our children will also be, what went well today? Nothing. It was a terrible day. You wouldn't believe it. Whatever.
Right.
Just inventing. But so the first thing you do as a parent is you snap, tap as you breathe in, relax and exhale, and you just let it all go. You listen to your child release that. And if you self-regulate and your child doesn't feel like it, it's okay, because they can feel you releasing and they are intrinsically releasing. And then all of a sudden they'll say, oh, you know what happened? It was so cool. The teacher picked me first today, or whatever,
Right.
Or my girlfriend let me borrow her cool sweater. I was so cool.
Right?
Everybody said hi to me.
Or her ears beads. I got, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right? All
So
of that.
if you release that, the routine of gratitude is so much easier. And sometimes we can just be grateful for having a roof over our head,
Yes.
and that's okay.
Especially given all that is going on in this world, right? It is about that. And to your point, it really is. I mean, that's how I sign off my emails, either be positive or be intentional, because
Mm-hmm.
there is
Yeah.
no other way. You either give up or you move forward.
So I sign off with, I self regulate every day, my life transforms.
Okay.
That
That's a
works too.
mouthful, but I get it.
And there are two beautiful ways of doing it. I love what you're doing, and I
It
love
is.
what I'm doing because I need to self regulate because I still have all this crazy survival mode taking over, hijacking my life. And until it does, it needs to be part of my life daily.
It is. And I'm going to pull up one thing that I do hear you say all the time.
Yes.
The change you wish to see in the world, right? Because
Yes.
that's where it is. It's all ties into your 7 empowering ways to support your
Yes.
child's emotional well-being. It's
Yes.
you lead from the heart, lead with
Yes.
example, lead with
Yes.
intention.
Yes. And when you lead, they follow.
Right.
So, how do you want, what ripple effect of love do you want to create in your family?
And people can learn more about your Ripple Effect of Love program. We have one podcast here on the Help Talk playlist that featured you a couple of months ago, and they can go to your website, christinebernat.com. And if that was too, like, I was going to say destroyed French, then you can go look here at that link. Thank you, Christine, for the pointing. And check out Christine on Help Talk and on HELPipdia hosting our program, which we're so grateful for. 2 years, you have been a champion leading our 2 p.m. Eastern Mondays Help Talk, where people can come get support from the community members and community partners. And it's wonderful. So we are really grateful. I don't have the fancy tools and the hearts, but I'll send one this way. I don't
There
get the
we
special
go.
effects.
See, mine aren't
Yeah,
working right now.
no,
Oh, there
no.
we go.
Yeah, you've got the magic. I don't, but I have the intention.
Yes.
So
And
there
the
you go.
intention is very important. Thank
Well,
you, Loralyn.
thank you,
It's a pleasure.
Christine, for all that you do and the positivity that you bring to this world and your ability to just have people calm down and manage that stress with your
Yeah.
snap, tap, zap.
Stop.
It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine.